Okay, so today's topic is the periodic table of elements. There's over 118 elements. Some of them are found naturally, some are not. An element is the most simplest form of matter. There are 118 different elements. As you can see here, there's 3 precious metals. Each of these is their own element. We have gold, platinum, and copper, for example. At first, the periodic table might seem intimidating. It's a lot of information on it. Believe it or not, it's actually just a roadmap. Once you understand the basics of the periodic table, it is very easy to understand. Alright, so the first part with reading the periodic table is understanding each element key. First part on the element key is the atomic mass. Atomic mass is usually represented with a decimal point, which makes it a lot easier to identify mass versus number. The next part is the chemical symbol. This is usually represented with one capital letter or one capital letter and a lowercase letter. Each element has its own unique chemical symbol, and the chemical symbols are universal. If you're in the United States, England, or China, they have the same chemical symbols. The atomic number is the number without the decimal point. This is an important number. It shows us the number of protons and the number of electrons. When the atomic number changes, the element becomes a different element. Lastly is the chemical name. The chemical name is the name that we normally refer to it in conversation. This can vary from country to country. If you look up a periodic table in China, you'll notice that this is written in Chinese. So we're done looking at how to read each individual element on the periodic table. Now we're going to look at the big picture of the periodic table. The periodic table can be broken down into metals, nonmetals, and metalloids. The nonmetals are located on the right side of the periodic table. These elements tend to gain or lose electrons during chemical bonds. Alright, so on the left side of the periodic table are your metals. These are the elements that tend to lose electrons during chemical bonds. And these are the elements that we tend to think of when we think of metals like gold, nickel, iron. And our last category on the periodic table are metalloids. These are located along what we call the stair step. What's so special about metalloids is they share properties of both metals and nonmetals. Without metalloids, you wouldn't have your cell phone, you wouldn't have your computer, you wouldn't have your DS. None of the electronics that you currently have in your life would exist without them. So at the start of the video, I was saying how the periodic table can be used as a roadmap. I'm going to show you 2 of the ways. The first way is understanding the periods in groups. Groups are the categories that go up and down on the periodic table. They tell us how reactive the element is. Every element in the same group is the same reactivity. So group 1, very reactive. You put them in water, boom, they explode. Group 18 doesn't do anything. They just sit there. They're not reactive. Okay, so the last section for the periodic table is periods. Periods run left to right on the periodic table. Now, if you'll notice in the slide below, that you'll see there's a bunch of different pictures of the atom. At the very top, the atoms are very, very, very small, and at the bottom, the atoms are very, very, very big. And this is normal because at the very top, you only have one electron shell, and you'll notice that in the picture, only one circle going around the nucleus. But at the very bottom of the periodic table, there's 7 shells. So there's 7 circles going around the nucleus. Alright, so our